Okay, here we go again, guys. Another video. WGR Garage, tracker, steering. Today is all about that steering. That steering box I ordered off of eBay. It's a Land Rover P38 steering box. Pretty large steering box. I thought it was going to be a little smaller than what it is, but I hear it's supposed to be the next steering box to kind of go to in the off-road world. So that's what today's about, is getting all the clearances cut, everything out of the way to get that steering box installed. So, yeah, stick with us. Okay guys, this is the monstrosity of a gearbox that I need to get mounted to this frame. First thing I need to do, and first thing you'll notice, if you can see up there, there's sheet metal up here that needs to get cut out, just the inner fender liner. So we'll clearance that to at least slide up there and try to see what see how well it's going to work, or see what I got to change. So that is what I'm doing. I'd call that a win. So that is installed. I'm pretty happy with it, so it should do pretty good right there. Next up is going to be trying to connect the steering rack to this, or the steering column to the input on the box. So that's probably going to be what's next. Obviously I got to cut out the sheet metal some more, and then I don't know, get creative with different U-joints and whatever you want to call these little flex joints to get the column to work. So that will be the next big hurdle, but shouldn't be impossible. But I like it. Should work. Okay guys, back at it in the shop, and today is going to be all about our steering column. So right now, basically we have our steering box mounted, but we don't have anything connecting it to the steering wheel. So steering column or steering link or whatever you want to call it, that needs to be accomplished next. And then maybe if we can get to it, we'll start working on our steering connection all the way down to the axle and the new center tie rod. So that's going to be it. Let's get to work. Alright, so I'm going to try to show you without blocking the light too bad. But we need this link, or that steering shaft, I guess, to connect to our box, which is going to be right here. So these need to connect to each other. So we got the original connection will have to get cut, and then we'll make the new coupler, or whatever you want to call it, mount to it. So that's what's up. Alrighty guys, I got the steering shaft all hooked up. Everything is working pretty smooth. I'm pretty happy with it. So next up is going to be probably pulling off these original steering arms, putting on the high steer arms, and then starting to figure out the steering on the front. So that's what's up next. Alright guys, I ran into an issue right here. So these high steer arms, it's weird. It's like they were set up for the steering box to be on the other side. I don't know if that's normally how Toyotas are, because the steering box is on the opposite side. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense, but I don't know. Something's weird, but it's angled too far in. It's like they cut the angle for this arm to be over there and the other arm to be over here. Unless it was like forward-backward steering or whatever you want to call it. So we're going to modify them. We're going to cut these high steer arms in half, make it so the bolt is straight up and down, and then go from there. So cutting them, welding them should be good as new. As you can see, I already cut this side off, so we're going to start over here. Alrighty guys, so I got the steering underway. It's making pretty good progress, but I think I'm at the point where I want to pull the whole front axle straight out of this thing, finish welding everything up, and then push it back underneath there. So I'm not going to screw with the steering anymore. I'm still waiting on stuff to cool down. So I'm going to yank this thing out and finish welding all the links, all the tabs under the chassis side of it. Just pretty much finish weld out the whole front end, and then probably layer it with some spray paint and push it back underneath there, and then just do the steering one time. That way I just have to install the steering and I don't have to take it back out to take the axle out anymore. Just put it in and be done. So that's what's up. Alrighty guys, slapped a bunch of paint on this front axle. Went with copper because I have a lot of copper and I kind of like it, so I'll probably do the knuckles and everything black and have the center section or the center axle tube part be copper. So we'll do that on the front and the rear. Came in here, hopefully you can see that, but painted the whole frame all the way down. All that stuff's painted. Yes, I think I did the other side. I think I'm working on the other side right now. Yep. So patched up the small hole that was here, and then I patched up that rust hole on the other side of the frame rail. Everything's all plated and pretty much going for final assembly, so that makes me happy. Next up is going to be I still have to take out my fuel cell one more time. A couple different reasons. I will have to make a cover for this thing too, but there's a fuel cell. I haven't final welded all this yet, and then I also would like to connect my original fuel neck, or the fuel fill. I would like to bring that right down and stick a port right here to fill my fuel up. So that's probably the last thing that this fuel tank needs, is just a spot to put the fuel. So that's what's gonna go down. That's what I'm doing. Alright guys, so one of the last pieces to the rear end, fab work wise I guess, is going to be shocks. So we got to figure out a place to mount these. I just got some cheap Monroe, almost dropped it, some cheap Monroe shocks, gas shocks. it should be fine. I think they're 12-inch travel. So let's figure out a place to put them. Guys, we got some shocks. So I'm pretty stoked how that turned out. All the tabs are fully welded. Everything's looking pretty sweet. So yeah, that's another check off the to-do list. So then the next step's really going to be to tear out the whole axle, get it all painted, paint the frame in the back, start routing brake lines. That's probably the next thing, is some brake lines, and then it's time for a test drive. So getting pretty close. Probably need to put the fuel cell back. Well, hey, that is a wrap on today's video, and we got a bunch done. So we have probably 1 or 2 more episodes to go until it's maiden voyage. So a little bit of odds and ends to do, but really that's it. So as always, hey, smash that subscribe button, guys. Like, share, do all that good stuff, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.